and particularly our theoretical track, has met the standards for accreditation. We received our accreditation about 5 years ago now, and it was quite exciting. Very rarely do departments going up for accreditation the first time receive the full 6-year accreditation.
Really?
Without the need for a midterm visit after 3 years or a midterm report.
Right.
And so we were very excited that we got the full 6-year accreditation. And what it means to us is that it's just a marked distinction. Basically, it's good for our students because it attracts good faculty, it attracts good students, and when our students apply for jobs, the employers, particularly at the major companies, look for, are you coming from an accredited department? And then when they apply to graduate school, if you apply to a graduate school and they see that you're coming from a program that's accredited, you're much more likely to get accepted, in a graduate program.
That's a very good point.
And so it has done, it has been a positive thing, and it's also a positive thing for attracting faculty. Faculty, when they look for positions in computer science, want to know, is it a quality program?
Sure, particularly if you were competing in Stanford, the University of Chicago, to get Jean-Louis Lassalle, having that ABET accreditation before he arrived was a great thing for you to have gotten in place so that you could attract a chairman like that and then also continue to attract great faculty.
Indeed.
That was great thinking, great thinking. What are some of the neat things happening in the department? I think you mentioned before we started filming that even though we think about the green room as something special behind the scenes at a rock hall or at a rock and roll location, the green room is something else that's being used there at the computer science department.
Dr. Lassalle and myself, we got to thinking that we wanted to enhance that freshman experience, first particularly in the early courses. So what we looked for was ways of not taking a break from the day-to-day programming chores and exposing the students to the wide variety of things that are happening in computer science. So we came up with the concept of what we call action labs, where we had action labs in, say, computer security, computer hardware, bioinformatics, and it would robotics, and it would give the students a break, once in a while, to go and see some of the cutting-edge things that are happening in computer science, and get their hands on, the robots and so forth. And then we got to thinking that we had developed a lab in bioinformatics that we called the Jurassic Park lab, where the students were given a DNA sequence. They had to go online and research that sequence and find out what organisms were part of that sequence, and it turned out that they would track it down, and eventually they would find that this DNA sequence had been spliced with the African green tree frog code DNA.
No.
And they had to use real-world search DNA engines to find this. Well, we also thought that perhaps students and the young people in general are so caught up with computer games. What if we developed a action lab that they took part in the game?
Yes.
So we thought of how could we do this, and so we developed a green room. So we took one of our labs, bought this very expensive paint for setting up a green room, and it's an awesome. You just walk in there; it's just a room that's green, but we're able to film students and faculty. And of course, from there, place them in settings anywhere in the world.
Oh, brilliant!
And,
yes.
And recently, we had students developing a game around bioinformatics, and they placed themselves to introduce the game. The team of programmers filmed themselves in the green room, placed themselves actually in the lab. So they were walking around mythical buildings, mythical computer science labs, chemistry labs. And you wouldn't, from your vision, you would think that they were actually in that setting.
Right,
but
right.
In fact, they were, in the green room. So the students are quite excited about this.
Brilliant idea, absolutely. Something I'm sure. And how long has that been in place, Steve?
We built that last summer, and we've been using it this year. And we're looking for other opportunities. We did the hardware lab
Right.
And we're going to do, and so the students actually, instead of actually taking apart a physical computer now, will actually go in and have to earn points to obtain parts, but they will build the lab in this virtual reality mode. So it's kind of exciting.
That is fantastic. That must be an absolute thrill for everyone involved, particularly for you as Jean-Louis Lissay, having put that together. Has this been done in other institutions of higher learning? I can't imagine.
We haven't seen too much of it. I'm sure some of it's going on, but we thought in two areas: the introductory classes, and particularly in this critical area of bioinformatics, that we wanted to have these type of lab experiences.
Does the Department of Computer Science at Coastal Carolina regularly interface with other departments there on campus, for instance, the Wall College of Business or any of the other graduate programs? Are you all interfacing a lot with and trying to get the students involved?
Well, yes, we work quite closely with the Wall College of Business, more so recently, and particularly the students in our information systems program.
Right.
They have to have a number of courses in business anyway, and so what we're trying to do is make a seamless integration between our courses in the information systems program, and at the conclusion of their degree in information systems, they can move on to the Coastal's new masters in business. And so we have a number of students now that are trying to move from one area to the other, and I think that's going to work out, be a plus for both the College of Business and for our majors as well.
Absolutely. As you see students both students that are coming in for the first time as well as ones that have determined they want to major in computer science and have gotten a little more advanced, what are some topics right now that are hot topics that students are really wanting to learn more about? You mentioned computer security, bioinformatics, other aspects. What are things that they're really grasping to learn more about?
Well, the whole discipline has come obviously far more web-centric, and things that are web-based, and the applications, and of course the computer security is a spin-off of web-centric applications.
Right.
But the students are looking in those areas in the more the applied, the information systems track, and then of course again there's so much work being done in artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
And the idea of robotics, that those are some very hot areas in the field.
Absolutely. John Kibler, who you may remember, who was with us, we filmed at the Holiday Inn West during a recent computer security conference that I know Coastal was very active in, and John Kibler was with us for 2 days. We had an attorney from Parker Poe, one from Womble Carlisle. John Stamey subbed in for Jean-Louis Lissay, wasn't feeling well that week. But it was fascinating as John Kibler from Charleston was talking about some real computer security issues that a lot of people need to be thinking about very carefully when they get online, and of course talking about the mafia's involvement and organized crime.
Indeed.
And this is real, Steve.
It's a real problem, and some of my research recently, as well as my colleague Dr. Lissay, is we're looking at some real-time intruder detection systems, and so much things are based on models where if there's a known security threat, there's a database that can react to it. But we're trying to develop algorithms and procedures for real-time trapping of unknown intruder detectors.
Really? Oh, that could be big.
And so that that kind of stuff would tremendously benefit in the areas of security. Speaking of the security area, one of our students, Tony Prince, he graduated maybe about 12 years ago in our program.
Right.
But he went on to found a computer security company, and it was funny. He stopped by my office, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, and said, Dr. Sheel, I'm tired of living in the Atlanta area. I'm founding a computer security company, and he says I can live anywhere in the United States I want to live, and he says I'm going to bring it back to the Myrtle Beach area because that's my home.
Is that right?
And I said, come on back. And now, yesterday I met one of his employees, one of our students that had graduated that's working for the security company, and I said, how's Tony Prince doing? And it turns out that Tony's now retired.
Is that right?
So, he's in his late 30s or early 40s, and now he's
Steve.
retired and living on a yacht.
That is fascinating. Well, that company's done a lot. Lurk, and it changed its name when it bought a company in Atlanta. So I know they've done some great things. Well, please tell him. We'd love to get him on sometime. The best part for you, Steve, being in the classroom is probably what? What is the most exciting aspect for you?
I like the engagements of the students, to challenge them to try to bring out the best in them, and basically, I get a kick when we get these letters where students write back and say, thanks for that class, because here's what I'm doing, and Dr. Sheel, we have a good program. Recently, I got a letter from a young lady that had graduated from our program. She went to work for Cisco Systems, and she was competing with students from schools like IBM and so forth. And she says, and I got the job. And she says, a little girl from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, got the job over some of these major universities. So, I think we're doing the right thing if our students can compete not only for jobs, but for, for quality graduate school programs.
Great words. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Steve.
You're quite welcome. I've enjoyed the experience.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Dr. Steve Sheel coming up next. You had to be wondering, am I doing the right thing? Have I made the right career choice? As that Lebanese soldier had the machine gun up to his stomach, asking him if he wanted to donate blood while he was there in Beirut. Think about that, the first experience, and then fast forward to the present, the excitement of getting a letter from a student saying, thank you so much for that first class. It opened the door to a new profession, and my entire life has changed. The excitement about being in the classroom, making a difference for students' lives. Learn more about Coastal Carolina University. Go online to coastal.edu. That's coastal.edu.